Hi guys, got a quick overview of the key perception study by Gilchrist and Nesberg for you today. They wanted to investigate if motivation, specifically hunger, affects our perception. The way that they did this is they took 26 participants and split them into two conditions. The first condition, these participants agreed that they would not eat any food for 20 hours. And the other condition, they just continued to eat food normally for the next 20 hours. Then the participants arrived back at the lab, and each participant was quickly shown 4 images of food before the image was taken away from the screen. Then the image returned and the brightness of the image had changed. And what the participants were asked to do was to adjust the brightness back to the same brightness as the original image that they had just seen. Now, those participants that had been eating normally, they adjusted the brightness accurately, no problems whatsoever. However, those participants that were hungry, they all adjusted the brightness of the picture to be higher and brighter than the original image. This is probably because they were so hungry that the food looked really appetizing, but the main conclusion here is that being hungry, or the motivation of hunger, does affect the way that we perceive things, as these participants perceived it, the brightness to be higher. Now, in terms of a quick evaluation, don't overcomplicate things. You can go down the route of it being a lab experiment, so you can talk about the high control and the replication and reliability, but you can then also talk about the fact that it's very unnatural in terms of its setting, and therefore the participants might figure out what's going on, and this could affect their behaviour. You could also talk about some ethics here. Not eating for 20 hours could result in some pain and discomfort, not very nice for participants, and I don't really think that we learn anything that massively important to justify it. Finally, you can debate the ecological validity of this one. For once, actually, getting hungry is kind of an everyday activity, so this is debatable to say the ecological validity is better than most lab studies. However, using pictures of food, you would potentially be able to argue that it doesn't really reflect the impact of real food, so therefore the results may not generalise, and they may have been different if they used actual real food.